everyone, welcome back to the show. And now we brought rapping to you this morning on Good Morning Sri Lanka, and we have Mark Gunaratna with us, and he gave us a little taste of his talents just before we went for the break. Maybe I can convince him to do that again in this segment as well. But now, Mark, we spoke about how you started out,
right?
But when did your first real break come through for you personally?
Ooh. There was a few moments.
Okay.
In Melbourne, there were a few events that I got involved in because I guess the content of my music, I do portray a very positive message, and it's a message based upon my faith and my beliefs and everything else as well. And through that, I got a lot of opportunities to perform at bigger events and bigger venues. There was one in particular that's in Melbourne called Youth Alive, which is a yearly event run by local churches that are coming together, and they get about 8,000 to 10,000 people at these events.
Okay.
So
it's just like a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a bit more than the people that see you in the mirror, from that event, a lot of things kind of picked up from there. But also that was, I guess, in the local perspective. But then internationally, coming out here, I've done a lot of work with Raj, with Infaz, and a few other artists here as well. And that really, I guess, solidified my presence in Sri Lanka itself. So that, I guess, putting those things together, I think, that's really contributed quite a lot.
And when you speak about Sri Lanka especially now, do you see like a big change in the past 10 years? You said you've been in touch with Sri Lanka and with the music scene here as well. So up to now, I mean, what are the great things that you've seen here in Sri Lanka?
I've seen unity. I think that in itself is a very powerful thing, where people are willing to help each other as well as promote each other as well. That's a very strong point. I think also as technology has progressed, so has the availability of the music being heard outside of Sri Lanka, which I think wasn't happening for a long time, because I think the music, and particular Sinhalese hip hop, and what was happening with the industry here, it was barricaded by just the island. And no one outside that could hear it. And so now, because of the internet, we have a chance. I can sit in my studio in Melbourne and listen to what's new right now.
Definitely.
And that has really helped the industry for sure.
And also, I mean, you have contemporaries around you, like people who are with you, who've started off with you, who are also producing great music, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure that you can learn off of other people as well. But again, that's competition as well. So how do you deal with the competition?
So the thing is, hip hop is a very competitive genre as well, where it started off as things like battle rapping, where people will go against each other. So one rapper will say the most disrespectful things to another person just to win a battle, right? So that's how hip hop started, right? So that is still kind of embedded within the culture, but it's one of those things. It's like a mutual respect. Like if you have two cricket teams, right, that you consider to be really good, at the end of the day, firstly, when the game is played, they're absolute enemies. But at the end of the day, they'll pat each other on the back and say, well done, I respect what you do. And I think it's the same thing with the music industry as well. You have to know that, hey, look, I still consider a lot of producers and artists that I work with to be really talented, but of course, I want to be competitive with them as well. And I think that's a good thing, because that brings out the best, in the music as well.
And you have to just keep improving yourself, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
At the end of the day.
Absolutely.
But now, there's a difference between live performances and recording in the studio, right?
Definitely.
So when we speak about your live performances, what are your favorite experiences so far?
Wow. I would have to say when I was, my very first concert that I went to was when I was 14, and it was Michael Jackson.
Wow.
And that, for me...
You've seen Michael Jackson?
Yeah. And, I mean, when I say I've seen him, it was at the MCG. I was in the back, and he was this little dot from where I was sitting.
Okay.
So they said it was him, and the TV screens showed it was him, but I'm sure it was. But
and you heard him?
It was. And so that show was so amazing that nothing has compared to it since. There's been close seconds, but nothing has been able to beat it.
And you kind of learn from those things, right? I mean, I'm sure that when you're performing live, you sort of try to incorporate the things that you've seen other really accomplished artists doing as well.
And people like Usher, Chris Brown, and a lot of people that put a lot of effort into their visual stage presence. I've taken a lot of notes from them, and end of the day, they took notes from Michael Jackson. So that's how I guess it all kind of goes back to Michael. So.
Jackson, like, hail Michael. No, really, it is. I mean, he was amazing. He's a legend. But now, your public performances, when we speak about those, what are the best experiences you've had yourself?
There's been a few there.
Okay.
There's
It's nerve-wracking, isn't it, to perform in public, and especially when it's rapping. Let's say it's freestyle rapping.
Right.
Everyone's listening to what you're saying, and you have to be focused on what you're saying and the audience at the same time, not making mistakes.
Well, I think there's always to look at that, because I think the normal audience member probably would not even listen to the lyrics. What they're going by is the crowd response to it. So if the crowd is like, oh, this is really good, then they're going to be like, oh, this is really good, not knowing why. And so, and the reason why I say that is I remember seeing Jay-Z a few years ago, and he did this a cappella freestyle, and he went really fast, and no one could actually catch the words of what he was saying, but everyone was like, oh, that's really cool. What's he saying? No one knows.
No one knows. Jay-Z, so let's just say it's cool.
It's a scream and shout. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
That's one thing, right? You have to get the audience going as well. But
of course, yeah.
What are the tricks, to like really get your audience interested and involved?
Yeah, I don't want to let too many tricks out the bag, because there's still some competition out there. But one of the things that I know works the best for me is crowd interaction. Because I really feel that people come out to see you because they want to interact with you. Not just hear you do karaoke for 45 minutes, right, with your songs, but actually for you to interact with your audience, talk to them, and to find out how they feel, and to get them to respond to certain things. And what I've found, I guess, when I perform to an audience that knows my material, they'll sing it back to me. Right? And I allowed them to do that, right? Because that shows the interaction and the participation, and that I think is one of the main, I guess, success measures of a live performance.
But that's really great, amazing, isn't it? When the audience sings back your songs to you.
It's quite it kind of throws you off, because I know for me, I remember the first time that it happened, I was like, they know my song. And I almost kind of just wanted to let them sing the whole thing, but they're paying me. They're paying me to sing it for them, so I should probably get back on the microphone.
Yeah, but no, I mean, that it really is. But I'm sure that you get nervous before performances as well. But what do you kind of have to do to calm yourself down?
These days, I guess, because I perform quite a lot, I guess the nerves don't kick in unless it's something completely different. Right? Okay. Like coming on Good Morning Sri Lanka, something completely different. There'll be a bit of nerves there, right?
I could never tell. Doesn't it look like a season pro at this? I'd go on TV shows every morning, regular visitor on Melbourne, Good Morning Melbourne, or something like that.
My social media profile will be up like this right now. But no, there are times where, I guess for me, one of the things that we do backstage now, I've got my team with me, I've got my DJ, I've got my my backing vocalist, my hype MC as well. We get together, we pray, we dedicate what we're doing to the Lord, and just make sure that whatever we do is glorified in it, and that the crowd is blessed by what we present to them. That kind of puts us in the zone, because I guess the moment we say to ourselves, I've got this, and I'm going to shut this down. Sometimes the things are going to happen outside of your your control, like sound issues, lighting issues, and you can't do anything in that. And I guess the moment you can say, okay, this stuff is beyond me, but I know I'm going to do the best I can in my ability to make sure these people get an awesome show tonight. Then
that's all you can do, right? Yeah,
exactly.
And leave it in the hands of someone else, a higher power. Yeah, that's true. But now, I'm sure there are some beginners as well who are watching the program right now. Some of you budding musicians, maybe. Yeah. And any advice that you can give out to them, because you've started out from scratch. You didn't have family connections or anything like that when you started out. Right. And what can you tell them from your experiences?
Okay, I would tell you this. I'm looking right in the camera.
All right.
Young artists and young musicians, I'll tell you this: be creative and be transparent, because the more open you are about who you are, it's when people can relate to you. And the more creative you can be with it as well, will make people be interested in what you're saying. So those are my 2 words of wisdom.
Very, very strong words there. And he has, maybe I can get a few more strong words out of you as well. Can we end with the show with a rap? Is that possible, Mark?
Sure.
All right, go for it.
A lot of speculation on the money I've made, the crib where I stay. Is he for the Lord or is he gone astray? Is he for the kingdom or is he gone worldly? I do to these rumors what Sandy did to Jersey. Young, fly and nerdy, fresher than your white socks, tighter than a tightrope, shutting down your night spot. Who be the boss? No rose, calling the bread of life, no gourmet. Okay.
All right, so he be the boss right now of that rap. All right, so thank you so much, Mark, for being with us on the show. It was a real pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and with that, we're going to end this show for this morning. It will be Friday tomorrow, but it's Thursday today, so hopefully you have a great day ahead, and we'll see you tomorrow where it's TGIF. So have a great day. Take care.